Hi, AP Psych parents. This is Mrs. Sewell. Welcome to our open house this year. I'm going to give you an overview of how the AP Psych class works and how you can contact me. If your child has an A or B in the class, they're doing exactly what they need to, and you can kind of skim over this. But if your child has a C or lower, then you probably want to watch the video and see what they can do to improve their scores in my class. The best way to contact me is to reach out by email. I'll answer emails till about 9:30 at night, and so you'll get a pretty immediate response. You can call me if you want to have a phone conversation. The number of the school is 407-893-7200, and then you can put in my extension 601-2231, and that'll dial me directly. The best times to reach me are between 7 and 8 a.m. I'm on my planning period, or after school, so after 1:20 on Wednesdays or 2:20 on regular days. I'm usually here till about 3:30. But again, email, you can reach me till about 9:30 at night. The nice thing about psychology is we use standard-based grading. Miss Mailer is the other AP psychology teacher, and our classes are completely coordinated. So kids in my class are doing the exact same thing as Miss Mailer. We share agendas, we share everything. And so we piloted the standard-based grading program here at Boone. And so we've broken down the AP College Board curriculum for AP Psych and put it into learning standards. So it makes it really clear for your student what they have to know and what they'll be tested on. So I'm going to show you an example. We're currently working on a unit of biology, the biology of the brain. And so here are the mastery standards. This unit is broken down into 4 standards. This is exactly what College Board says they need to know. So we shape them into 4 standards. And those standards show them the vocabulary they're responsible for, what they should be able to know at the end of the lesson. And so when they take a test, they'll actually take a test on each standard. So this test will be worth 400 points. They'll take 10 questions on every standard. And then if they have trouble with any particular standard, they can retake that standard to improve their score. And that's mastery learning. So they have the opportunity to improve their grade. We usually do retakes within about a week of the grade being posted on Canvas. For the last couple of tests, we've offered retakes during class time and after school for a couple of different days. So they have the opportunity to improve that score. And we have accommodated students even if they can't stay after school for retakes. Their daily work consists of reading and then taking a quiz on that reading and practicing their vocab. We really don't have homework other than reading and practicing vocabulary. So any assignments we typically do in class, and then they may take those home for to finish, but we really don't assign homework outside of the reading. They usually have about 3 days to complete their reading assignments and study the vocab for that. And then those grades are in Canvas. Those are part of their formative assessments. Those they don't retake, and but they're a low percentage. They're only 10% of their overall grade. So the big question is, how can you monitor your student? Every day I post an agenda on the Canvas calendar that tells students what we're doing for the day. It links everything they need. So if I use notes, it's linked. If I use a Nearpod, it's linked. Their homework assignments are listed and linked, and everything they need is there. So if your child is out with COVID or any other illness, or they miss a day, they can just go to the Canvas calendar for the day they were absent, and everything is there that they would need. So it's very organized, and they can find everything. And then they can always email me if they have a question. You can also check their grades on Canvas. Canvas grades are, probably the most accurate till the end of the quarter. Then you check Skyward. Skyward's where the official grade is. I'll do, for instance, a grade drop assignment. I did a grade drop assignment, and so in Skyward, those students who turned in a completed notebook, they'll get a grade drop. So their grade will actually be better in Skyward than Canvas. Right? Students should have a notebook. It's another way that you can monitor them. They should have an AP Psych notebook or a binder, and it should have lots of work in it. We do lots of notes and lots of things. So look at your student's binder. Do they have a bunch of work? Is it done? Have they filled it out? If they have all their work completed and they have that notebook in order, then at the end of the 9 weeks, I'll drop their lowest test score. And so that can be a big boon for them. Every day I tell them what page to put the papers in. It's a matter of stapling in the papers, taking some reading notes, and updating that notebook so it's not hard. All right, what homework should you expect? As I said early, there's 4 main things. First, they have to read the assigned materials, and I'm going to show you what they're reading. This is a Samore. Miss Mailer and I have created these Samores, and what we've done is we've taken the textbook information, which is way long and too much, and we've also taken the Barron's Review book and other materials and synthesized it down into fairly short readings for each standard. So this is the first standard. You can see it has all the vocab, it's all defined for them. It has those essential questions, the same as on the mastery. And then it tells them everything they need to know about that standard. And so it talks about Phineas Gage, that's someone they need to know. Now this may look long to you. It's not, it's much shorter. It gives them pictures, it gives them some videos, so it's not just reading, and it gives them the whole picture. We'll also cover the material in class, and here they've got some pictures and it explains how all these technologies work. And then they go to Canvas and they take a quiz. They can use their notes, so they should be reading and writing notes, and then they get to use the notes on the quiz. We literally write the quiz from this reading, and the questions will even say from the Know Your Brain episode, and then so they know it came from the video. They should be getting 10s on those quizzes, but many students who are scoring low actually are trying to Google the answers and they don't do the reading. So doing the reading makes a huge difference for students, and that's what it looks like. It's much easier than a college textbook, which is what a lot of AP teachers use. The other thing they do is practice vocabulary. This at the end of every year, students come back from their AP exam and they're like, Miss, this was a giant vocabulary test. Yes, it is. And so we've already made Quizlets for them. So Quizlet is a website where they can practice their vocabulary. So I already have the words and the definitions there. They just have to log in and practice with it. So they can play games, they can flip the cards, they can practice and make sure they know the vocabulary. And then the day before the test, they'll have a vocabulary quiz over that. And so again, this is something a lot of students who are not scoring well, they're not using the Quizlet, they're not learning the vocabulary, then they score low on their vocabulary quiz and lower on their test. So they really have to practice vocabulary. So you can check your students' vocabulary scores. They should be getting hundreds on vocabulary if they've been practicing. It's literally the definitions and the words. The other thing we do is right before the test, they have an Albert I/O assignment. The Albert I/O assignment acts as extra credit for their test. And so they will get 10 points or 10% towards every standard if they just complete the assignment. We're not even looking for perfect scores or anything like that. They just need to try, they can use their notes, and then when they miss a question, it will tell them why they missed it. And so if they read that, we see that students who complete this assignment do so much better on their test, and then they get 10 extra credit points. So this is how students are getting over 100 on their test. And so if your student is not completing this Albert I/O assignment, this is something they're really missing. I have used Albert I/O, it used to be called Learnerator, and I've seen great success with students who religiously do this, and it will help them be able to answer AP test questions. It's actually harder than the test questions, and so once they're able to do the Albert, they can easily do the AP test questions. The other thing is we need them to come to class every day. They need to take the notes in class, and they need to do the practice. Every assignment that we do is targeted toward one of those mastery standards. If it doesn't help them reach their learning goal, we just don't do it. We have really targeted everything to help them learn what they need to know, and we've cut out the extras. Also, your students always have the chance to improve their scores. They can take a retake on any and all assessments. So any of those standards they can take a retake on. It's usually, like I said, about a day after the grade or a week after the grade is posted. We'll set retake days, and they just have to complete retake requirements. Honestly, the retake requirements are almost always do the work you were supposed to do. Occasionally there's something extra to help them learn. The idea is if you would do the work that we ask you to do before the test, you're going to be successful in the test and not need a retake. But if you didn't do that, now you really have to do it in order to take a retake. And there'll be a new Albert I.O. assignment, and they'll have to do their work, but they're given a checklist of assignments to help them. So there's no reason they should have a low score. And, honestly, if they come and try, I have their backs on it. I'm going to help them. But if they won't try and improve it themselves, then there's really no wiggle room for me. Now, how can you help your students? And how can they improve their grades? They just have to do the work. I promise if they do the work, they're going to be successful. They need to take advantage of retakes. Some of them really need to improve their study skills, like reading and taking notes. That's something they're going to have to be able to do in college. And they always have to do their Albert I.O. assignment so that they get those bonus points and they learn so that their test is actually higher than it would have been. So if you have any questions, I will be live in a Padlet. If you go back to Canvas, there's a Padlet link right under this video. Just click the link and you can ask me questions live through Open House. It lasts till 7:30, or just shoot me an email at angela.sewell@ocps.net and ask me anything that you need to know. I'm happy to help you to help your student. And also, I didn't say anything about tutoring, but tutoring is offered by request. Honestly, so far this year, I've had one student request tutoring, and she comes in after every test and wants to know what questions she missed and why, and we go over it. She's the only student so far this year that's taken advantage of tutoring. So if your student is struggling, there's so many things we can do to help them fix it and do better. So again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me.